All right. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Welcome to the first live iteration of Unique Amps. Today is April 18th, 2020, and I hope that you are all safe and healthy wherever you might be in the world. Today is a very special day because in a few minutes, we're going to be unboxing the Celestion Greenback. I still can't say it, Celestion Greenback. But first, why don't we review the stock Kustom 12 gauge a little bit. So what we're going to do is take a walk through and just so you can hear what it sounds like one last time before we swap the speaker out for the new Celestion. So what I did earlier was I played my intro, and it was supposed to be cool, but since the audio wasn't working, let's try it now. So basically all I was doing was I've got a little bit of overdrive set up, and the volume is at about, say 9 o'clock, so it's third of the way up. As you can hear, it's got some decent overdrive. It took me probably a half hour to an hour last night of playing around with the settings to get it to sound acceptable to me. But it still sounds a little bit thin, and it just doesn't sound as articulate as I'd like. So I'm hoping that the new speaker is going to help that. I know the new speaker is going to sound a lot better, but then longer term, I'm probably going to be also adding a spring reverb, probably modifying the solid state overdrive circuit of this thing. A couple of you also suggested maybe modify the grill cloth, which I think I could probably do, depending on what you guys are interested in. And then also, I think Christopher Shasky suggested replacing the covering, which I've only done one amp so far that I built over 10 years ago, and it didn't turn out so well. So this is in fairly good shape. I cleaned the top of this, removed the handle and cleaned the top last night. So it looks okay. I mean, I need to clean it up a lot more for it to look better, but it's really in good shape. I mean, there's really no tears or, there's a couple things with, the plastic horn protectors I don't really like. I prefer metal. But overall, it's not bad for entry-level guitar amplifier. So I've already removed the back panel to save a little bit of time. And on the bottom, get it out there. So at the moment, so like I said, I've got the overdrive channel on. Go over to the clean. It doesn't have a bad clean sound either. It's just this could be better. And then this thing does have some built-in effects. So it's got this, so the stock effect or the default effect without the button pushed in. So it says delay reverb. I think it's supposed to sound like a delay, Push the button in. Well, that's the delay. The other one's supposed to be the reverb. Not bad, but not. Could be better. So my idea is to add a spring reverb. Let's see if I can pronounce his name. Slawomir Balanitz. Sorry if I butchered your name. He suggested he would like echo, compression, phaser, all the stuff added. If you want all that stuff in a amp, you should probably just buy a modeling amp. I'm probably not going to be adding all that stuff to this, but I could do. I'm definitely going to do a spring reverb. Also, I'd say one of the biggest requests, or the most popular request, is increase the input impedance, which should be doable. Of course, Maurice Diebert, who suggested the Greenback, also is looking for a box type tone, a chimey tone. So that's kind of what I'm going to be aiming for on this with the clean channel. But then also I like distortion too. So what I'm probably going to do is add one or two separate additional channels, as well as modify the stock circuit. So to achieve the clean Vox jangly tone, but then also maybe two different types of distortion. Probably add some tubes, of course. I haven't decided if I'm going to go with a low voltage or high voltage tube. I think I'm leaning on this one more toward a classic high voltage tube, but I'll probably go with something that's not as typical as an average name brand amp. There's a lot of room in here, so I mean, really, it's begging to be modified. So without further ado, why don't we take the guitar off for now, disconnect it, shut the power off. Unplug it, of course. And let's see, let's open her up. So I got this from Amazon. I have to look and see what so it's Amazon, but the store was Loudspeakers Plus on Amazon. So the shipped grand total was $121.31. Not terrible. A couple of you suggested some speakers that were a lot more expensive than that. If I was designing, say, kind of a flagship amplifier, something that is meant to be, somebody's main amplifier, I might go with something that expensive. But for this project, I think 120 bucks is reasonable for a speaker. There it is, Celestion. All right, get this out of the way. You can see it here. There it is. All right, beautiful thing. Brand new, nice. Yeah, it is nice, you guys. Yeah, it's backwards on the webcam, but yeah, sweet. Eight ohm. So they had the 16 ohm option, but I think I'd have to look. But I think the stock speaker in here is a 8 ohm. But yeah, nice. Can you see it, Maurice? Nice speaker. Sweet. All right. So hopefully you don't screw up my connection here. Let's remove the old one. Oh, moving my guitar. Need a bigger table. Now, you know what I'll do is I'll take get more room if I take the chassis out. So it's just regular old push-on spade connectors. So yeah, look, there's all kinds of room in there for add more stuff. A little bit greasy, actually. All right, so there's 6 screws holding it on. That's a 12 gauge Kustom, 8 ohm, yeah, 8 ohm on the side. There's actually cobwebs in here. I have to really go through and clean this thing. But we'll install the new Celestion first, see how it sounds. I'm stoked too. You know, I was watching some of the Scar My Guitar videos the other day, and Sean, I think his name is, was saying, you know, he's modifying a guitar, and he was saying, you know, he's adding like less than $100 of new parts, and he said, you know, when he's done, it's going to be like a $200 guitar. And he said, you know, he could add hundreds of dollars of parts, right? And he said, but you know, his opinion is if somebody wants, say, a $400 or $500 guitar, instead of buying a cheap guitar and then upgrading it, you know, with hundreds of dollars of parts, just to spend the $400 to $500 on the guitar the guitar in the first place. Man, dirty. So you look at this magnet. I mean, the Celestion is covered, but huge difference in the magnet, of course, and just the weight. I mean, the weight difference. This probably weighs 3 times or more, 3 to 4 times more than the original. You can see that, you know, just the construction is better. This has a longer throw, has a deeper cone. And it actually probably has, so the Celestion has a little bit more compliance. You know, the surround suspension is excellent compared to the original. So I'll hang on to this in case somebody wants it, but I doubt anybody will. All right. So let's see if I can find some screw holes that line up well. This one has the spade connections on it too, so it should be quick and easy to connect up. So yeah, this thing really needs, the amp overall needs some TLC. All right, so the holes don't line up perfectly, but I think I can at least get, no, I'm gonna have to drill new ones actually. That figures. All right. Wasn't anticipating that. All right, you're back. Get some drill bits. Somebody messaging me? Yeah, this will work. If you've never heard of Voodoo Ranger beer, I highly suggest it. IPA, really good. So I'm just gonna set it in here. Maybe I can move the camera a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Hold on a second. A little better, maybe. That's not a big deal. But it pays, if you're going to do something like this, get a drill, get some drill bits, get some basic tools. So I'm just going to mark the centers. This is actually good because then you can see what it takes to actually do a job like this. All right. All right, so we don't want to go all the way through. I don't think the other ones are all the way through. We don't want to go through the grill cloth, at least at this point. I mean, I guess we could if we're planning on changing it, but let's say we're not. Let's say we're going to keep the grill cloth. What I try to do is set the drill bit. What you can do is wrap a piece of tape around it, so you know that you don't go too deep. Or else, in this case, what I'm going to do is just move the grill cloth back a little bit and be careful. Once you get all the way through, stop. So, not poking into the grill cloth. You can clean it up later. Get a vacuum cleaner. Same with this one. Okay. What I'm going to do is dump it out a little bit so I don't get the new speaker all full of crud. What I'll do is I probably will change the grill cloth, guys. So this whole panel comes off. So there's these screws all around here. And this is typical construction for most amps. The baffle, so the board that the speaker connects to is called the baffle. That comes off and it's a separate piece, and then you have access to the grill cloth, and then this one's got the white fluting around it, which I don't personally like, but you guys let me know if you want to keep that or change it to something else. All right. Another thing I'm going to do is, once I'm done here, I'll record some of this speaker using the SM57, and then put the original speaker back in, and then record some more with the SM57, and then do a video of the two side by side, so you can hear it. Yeah, this one's got, these screws aren't too great here. This is just going to be temporary. I'll just stick 2 screws in it for now because there's only 2 that are decent. It almost looks to me like somebody was in here, but some other time. Because not all the screws match. When you think from the factory, all the screws would match. They don't. Be careful. So it's not going anywhere. I'm not going to leave it like that, of course. I'll put all matching decent screws in there. But for now, it'll work. All right, let's get the amplifier chassis back in there. Yeah, I think this might have been somebody's project previously. All right. So usually try to get things started by hand first, backwards. Come on. This one's not happy. It's fighting me a little bit. Just trying to get the holes lined up. Come on. Okay, there's that one. That one doesn't like it. Okay. Since this is coming out again, I'm going to leave this one up for now. There's something messed up with that one. All right. So get in there and connect it. Probably should have done that earlier, but So according to the board here, probably can't see that there, but so these are the speaker output, and we got white going to plus, black is minus. So I'm going to keep the phase the same. It doesn't really matter for a single speaker, but if you got a multiple speaker amp, then the phase is going to matter. Or multiple speaker cabinet. Come on. Celestion's nice that they've got two spade connectors for each side. Can either go on the end or the side. I think you got it on there. All right. So let's hear it, huh? Oh, had it powered up. So I hear the hiss. That's the clean cranked up. What it sounds like. Tell that it's not nearly as bright as the original. So I got the same settings, same EQ as earlier. Let's bring it closer. So you can see the EQ. So I got the bass up about a third, mid's at half, and highs at just under half. That's the neck pickup. Split neck and bridge. Turn the low pretty much down. It's up. Sounds pretty good. I'd have to check, Maurice, what the circuit's based on. I'll have to look and see. I really don't know at this point. It's just a solid state. It has looks like a few op amps, and it's got a an IC power amp, so it's nothing fancy, but it sounds pretty good for what it is. That's the clean. Probably would sound better with single coils. Probably does need circuit modified a little bit to make it sound more boxy. I also have to figure out what that exactly means. Sound more boxy. This is the lead channel. It's more articulate. It feels. It sounds less mushy, right, or less muddled. More articulate, more clear. I don't need the bass turned up to make it sound full. Yeah, it's tighter. This thing you can get way too gloomy. I like it. So what I'll do is, anybody have any questions at the moment? My plan is I'll get capture some decent audio with SM57. The Greenback installed. I'll do some clean. I'll do some distorted. I'll probably use my my old original Ibanez with the Lumitone pickups, and then I'll swap the original back in, get some more SM57, and then make a video to compare the two side by side. So I'll switch between the Greenback and the original, and then let you guys hear it. So there's step one of the modification. Yep, so I'm just looking at your chat. So I agree. It sounds like a definite improvement. So I think that's it for now. I'm happy with the results. I hope you are as well. So that's step one of the modification of the Kustom 12 gauge. The next thing is probably going to be, let me put my guitar down for a moment. Like you said, Maurice, about, well, what's the circuit? I'll find out what the circuit's based on, but I don't believe it's based on any, say, historically significant circuit. I think it's just a custom solid state circuit, nothing fancy. But I do know, and this is one thing that I did on my first one of these that I bought, is I think these are the clipping diodes for the distortion circuit. So that would be one thing. So I think these are Zeners. Originally, I changed those out to germanium. It's a much smoother, better sounding overdrive with germanium diodes. So that's going to be one thing for sure. But what I'll do is I'll pull the circuit board out, look and see what else I can modify. Also, I'm sure the op amps aren't the best op amps. I do have some higher quality. I forget the brand name now, but I got some better op amps I could probably swap these out for. So that is the installation of Celestion Greenback. So thank you all for joining. Thanks also for bearing with my technical difficulties. This is the very first time that I've tried streaming a video like this, and I'm glad that I got it to work eventually, and that I was able to do this today. So thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. There's one other thing that I wanted to mention was I was watching this video the other day, and it was how to increase likes and subs. And the guy was saying that you have to remind people. And I was thinking, we're on YouTube. Why? I mean, it should be obvious. It should be automatic, right? That you're on YouTube, and that's like half the point is like and subscribe to videos and the creators that you like. Why should you have to remind them every time? So I'm still at this point not going to be saying it in every video, but I really appreciate the reaction so far. A few of you seem like you're really interested in what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do. So I really appreciate it, and I'm going to keep sharing as long as there's interest. I genuinely appreciate it. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Take care.